Welcome in, everybody, to the Eastern Washington University Rec Center as we are now on Game 5 of our PAC8 Showcase. It is the second matchup of this weekend between the Washington State Cougars and the Utah Utes. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Blaine Spencer. Alongside me is Gary Allen. Gary, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Waiting for an exciting game. Hopefully these two play like they did a couple games ago. That was a heck of a hockey game.
And this is their second matchup, and that resulted in a Utah win, 6-1. And the biggest storyline were the goaltenders in that first matchup. And Kane Paxton will be back in the net for the Cougars tonight. However, Michael Biller is not in the net for the Utes tonight. They have a new netminder in Adam Russello. Going to be interesting to see how Adam plays.
Yeah, it will be. And I don't know if Biller finally needed rest because he faced so many shots in the last couple of games. But hopefully people out there get used to saying Kane Paxton a lot because that kid, I don't know, and he played so well last time.
I think it was, we were joking on that first broadcast about, I was joking. I talked you into it that he made over 60 saves in that first matchup with Utah just playing at 100 miles an hour throughout that game. I want to see how Washington State makes an adjustment to Utah's speed.
They're definitely going to have to play more of a closed-in defensive style if they want to really help Paxton out tonight. But it was pretty funny. I talked to Kane Paxton yesterday. He came up and was talking to me before the EW-Utah game, and he said actually somebody was keeping some stats on that, and they figured he had 72 saves.
So that's even more than we actually thought he had, and that's absolutely, as Utah brings it in.
He's a super kid, though, really nice. He didn't have to come up and say anything. He liked how we broadcast the game for him, and he was just talking about the game in general. And he stayed a couple of periods last night because he really wanted to see EWU and Utah play. And when I was talking to him, I asked him what he was thinking about, what EW has to do, and he goes, they needed to open it up, just like we've been talking about. And they did, and they gave Utah everything they wanted.
Early penalty here by the Cougars as Garrett Donahue enters the box.
There was a little scrum on the side of Paxton, so I'm not sure if there's some extra curriculars going on.
And it'll be Utah.
Point blank, top of the slot. Glove hand by Kane Paxton.
Looks like they're having some scoreboard issues right now, but as Utah, it will be on the power play here, and like clockwork, saved by Paxton. We said it a lot the first night. It'll probably be saying it a lot again tonight.
I got a strong feeling we'll be saying it a lot tonight. At least we're not having technical difficulties this game, so that's great.
We're off to a flying start.
I don't know if you want to jinx it quite like that. I know you have a good start.
There's no knock on wood as Utah scores.
They snuck one by. Paxton started to go to his right, and they did a nice little feather pass, and it went right in the corner.
Couldn't get the number there, but they also did a little of a block out in front, too, also to change his vision there to draw his eyes somewhere else as well.
Well, you got to figure he's got to be tired by now, as many shots as he's been facing in this tournament.
As Utah dumps it back in. But early goal here by the Utes as they are up 1-0 on the Cougars.
Well, if you see what they're doing now, they're nonstop. Utah's playing the same way they've done the last two games. They just keep going.
Unbelievable motor these kids have to be able to play this type of style night in, night out for 60 minutes.
There's Landers. He's trying to take control for WSU. I found out he played in the Null, and I was wondering what kind of juniors he played because he's so talented, and I found that out last night when I was asking around.
Gary, for the Cougars, they made a couple adjustments against UCSD yesterday. Do they want to maintain that style, or do they want to try and take the playbook out of Eastern Washington?
I think I would open it up for them Right now, the game's still close. With that goaltender you got, we talked about it yesterday. You can take some risk on it. I would open it up just slightly, a little bit, and then as the period move on, I would start looking at putting my defensemen and pinch them in a little bit more, see if they can generate and test this goalie. Since we haven't seen the goaltender, I don't know. We know it's not Biller, so give it some shots on them, see what they can do. But the way EWU played last night, it'd be hard to match their playbook because they just were wide open, and that's how they need to play the rest of this year. If they do that, they're going to be strong. I was extremely high on their game last night.
They
extremely
were
high.
Honestly, I thought we've been as Eastern covering all their games. I think that was their best performance all year so far this year,
without a doubt.
And playing a high-quality opponent in Utah, they really forced the issue for a lot of that opening matchup. And then Utah found their groove later, halfway in that second period, and then in the overtime as well.
Paxton just got 2 saves on that one.
As the Cougars try to clear.
That Utah already dominating the neutral zone and making sure that Washington State can't really get it out into their offensive zone. As Utah regroups, looking for that stretch pass blocked by Washington State.
I could see possibly WSU mixing up their line a little bit more, getting Gold and Landers together more and see if they could put a little pressure on Utah that way.
And I did see that Gold and Landers started today on the same line, so that'd be something unique to see as they continue that, right? So.
Oh yeah, no question about it. I did not notice that, but that was a good call by the Cougars coaching staff because they're really well versed in the offensive end.
Big hit there as Utah gives chase. Washington State picks it up by spin as he brings it out.
And Gold ends up dumping it in. And Umina clears it away as Landers picks it up. Just misses there and goes wide. Spin flashes it in front.
No ice in there as Landers picks it up. Looking for Roach. Roach mishandles. Utah picks it up once again. Very frenetic early pace here in this one. Washington State really trying to match the speed and motor that Utah is utilizing. They swing it around, trying to look for O'Shea.
WSU is going to get a penalty. And they definitely can't afford being shorthanded against Utah. And actually, it's funny you were talking about Utah's speed there. They were almost too quick down there in the corner. That's why they looked a little choppy because they were overskating the puck quite a bit. But that's a nice luxury to have when you got people that motor that well all the time.
And it's Roach heading into the box, and Utah already on the power play once again. Already scored on their first power play this evening.
And it's going to hurt with Roach in the box because he's had an outstanding weekend so far in this showcase.
That's picked away as Utah reloads into their zone.
Goes in the hair that brings it in. And Milik probes right now towards the circle. Deflected just wide.
Now, so I noticed Utah's going back to their style the way they did the first time they played WSU. They're putting somebody right behind the net.
As Umina from outside scores, just like the call there, and it flashes past Paxton.
Well, and that's why I noticed that's what they've been doing the last few shifts, because on that play right there, with the guy down deep right off to the side of the net, you don't really remember where he's at. He just kind of snuck in on that one. And Utah did that the first time they played WSU, a lot of behind the net play And they didn't do it against Eastern, but they did the first game against WSU. They did, and they're going right back to it.
As Umina scores that one, and Utah already up 2-0. Just 6 minutes underway into the first period. 2 for 2 on the power play. And just like how you mentioned, Gary, Washington State couldn't be short-manned, and they've already been punished twice.
Yeah. They had a tall order being even strength, but they can't go down against Utah. There's just no way they can play that way.
As Wazoo brings it in, it's Donahue, and that's going to be a penalty there for the Utes. Opportunity for the Cougars here on the power play.
It's a golden opportunity for WSU to get back in this game, settle the tempo down a little bit. Utah's having their way, especially in the neutral zone. That's where they're starting their attack.
As that's Cole Sheridan who's going to be entering the box. And even if they can't convert on this power play, it almost feels like an opportunity for them to settle into the game a little bit, especially with Utah dictating a lot of the play.
Well, if they can get a lot of shots on the netminders, even if they don't score, that'll help the momentum for them. But they're going to have to do some things differently right now. And O'Shea's tough. I mean, I watched that kid last 2 games, and he's tough to play against. He's got the puck now.
As Paxton makes the save there. Landers brings it in. Hits the bar there.
Nice little deke.
And he had Russello beat up top shelf.
Yeah, that was a nice little deke by Landers on that one.
As Ewing resets for the Cougars, and it's Woodard bringing it down.
It's smart having Woodard with Landers too, because he's a real smooth, quick skater.
Missed pass there by Gold, and Ewing gives chase as he looks up for spin. Momina clears. Just 1 minute remaining left on the power play. And that's going to be an offsides there for the Cougars.
The Cougars are doing a nice job of setting up their offense. Once they get it into the zone, they have Utah scrambling a little bit on it. It's just getting through that neutral zone to set it up. Because Utah is definitely playing a 3-1 zone in the neutral zone on it to try to slow down WSU.
As Utah wins the faceoff there and dumps it back down.
And see, now they went back to a 1-1-2 style.
Right.
And they're dictating how their WSU's coming out of their end, playing that way.
That's a big check there by Michael Brown. And that's sticked aside by Russello.
Russello's had a good game so far for just plopping into the game. First game this weekend for him.
And sometimes it's a little difficult to adjust if you haven't gotten that early game period. As like Bill got those first 2 games. Now you're getting played in on the 3rd night. Out in front. Russello's up to the challenge there. Makes another one out in front. Lovely double save there. And that was on Logan Jentz right in the face of the net.
And Jentz can shoot the puck too, so that's very impressive, Russello. Because I watched Jentz the last couple of games, and he's a sniper. And nice job by the Utah goalie to stand firm on that one. And actually, if you look at that, Jentz went low and then it went high on him, and nice job by him.
There was an offsides there by Utah, and Cougars win the faceoff there, as both teams are now back at the full strength. And Utah starts to attack. Flash out in front, saved by Paxton. And that was Millick with the shot. One thing that I'm noticing early by Utah is that they're switching up and giving Paxton a different look each time that they're trying to begin to probe on the offensive end.
Well, they have to try something against him.
Right.
I mean, seriously, he did so well the first time when he played against him.
That's some icing there. Back down to the Utah zone.
And if Utah didn't watch Kane Paxton before, I can see why they're changing up right now, because I think he stunned him a little bit in that first time they played, even though the score wouldn't say it. But definitely he made Utah real frustrated throughout the game.
Yeah, especially as it was only 3-1 after the second period. And then a couple late goals finally put it to bed for Utah. But I think you're right. After that first night, they are trying anything possible to try and switch it up on him, give him something different each time as he makes another save there.
Well, especially since Utah has so many snipers, so they're probably used to playing an average goaltender, and they're knocking them in, and Paxton wouldn't let him score low, really for the most part of that game yesterday. And as a goal scorer, that will wear on you.
O'Shea has it up by the blue line. Makes a pass, and its pass is blocked there. Cougars cleared away, bring it down, dump it in. That is Jentz who gives chase. Jentz flashes it out in front. Pad save there by Russello. Jentz out behind, looking for Woodard. Ends up getting to him. Poke check there by the Utes though, as it's dumped back in by Donahue. Here comes O'Shea the other way, as he dumps it in. Woodard beats O'Shea to the puck there and sends it around to Gold. Rister's glove saved by Paxton.
One thing I've found interesting with Utah's net-minding tandem, they're all on the smaller side, but they're all extremely quick. Cat-like reflexes, both goaltenders play that way. So it's interesting that they have basically the same build and same quickness out of both goaltenders. So I don't know if that's a recruiting strategy they use, but both goalies have been playing well.
As Landers tries to get around, centers it looking for Gold. Utah picks it up, tries to clear. Ewing keeps it in the zone.
Rosero's real impressive on his lateral movement and his glove hand, and very, very quick.
Very similar style to how Biller was playing as well.
Yeah, they are, and that intrigues me quite a bit. And WSU, I think, is going to go in the box.
Delayed penalty here, as Russello leaves in a little bit of a mini power play here while they are up with the delayed penalty for the Utes. Dumped in. And there it is.
Without a doubt, WSU can't get in this game and taking penalties. They cannot continue to be shorthanded.
Just a little over 8 minutes remaining as it's 2-0, and Utah's about to be on their third power play in the opening 12 minutes. Looks like that is Brett Ewing heading into the box. Utah already 2 for 2 on the power play, trying to stay perfect. Rumina from top of the circle, deflected just wide as the Cougars dump it down. One thing that I've noticed is that they're making it a focal point with Umina up at the top of the blue line, center of the blue line, to get him the puck to try and dictate play up top when they get into the zone.
He's the one that's leading the offensive charge for him.
It's right up to Umina there. Flashed in front, deflected just wide. Once again, that was by Millick there as the Cougars clear.
Nutt's had an outstanding weekend also for Utah. Kids played well along with Pittman.
Endy has the puck here. Rister pushed aside by Paxton once again.
halfway through the power play here for the Utes. Andy brings it in. Rister stopped by Paxton once again as he covers it up. And Utah already this is danger time for the Cougars. They got to somehow finish this penalty kill off. Can't fall 3 behind already. Face-off 1 as Woodard sends it down ice. About 45 seconds left on the power play. As it's brought back in with some speed. Out in front, saved by Paxton again. Saved by Paxton. Saved by Paxton. A couple of quick double save there. A little delayed emphasis on that one. As here we go with the face-off here for the Utah Utes. They keep it in, swing it around, just up towards the circle, deflected wide. Monaco has it up top with the blue. Puts it around. O'Shea comes around. A little friendly fire there. Sends it just wide. So that's Ryan Worth. Continues the probe. Cougars are back now to full strength here. Paxton with another save. Utah continuing to apply the pressure in front of Kane Paxton's net.
Well, that's just their style of play. They're relentless. They're constantly moving. If you watch Utah real carefully, you don't see any skaters just kind of gliding and standing around. They're constantly moving their skates, and they're hard to slow down. That was a class sack by Worth. He went up there and tapped Paxton on the top of the helmet saying, nice job. You know that's what he's doing, because you got to be impressed with him. As an opposing team, you have to be impressed with how he's playing.
And then he probably gave him a little smile saying, hey, you know, let me get one tonight or what?
Yeah, probably.
Probably. As it's dumped in by Spin for the Cougars.
But it's nice when players acknowledge just how well the opposing player is playing against them.
Shot from outside, brushed aside by Paxton there. Another potential penalty here. This time, I think is this one going to be on Utah, it looks like.
I'm not sure because neither goaltender are moving toward their bench, so I'm not really sure who they got.
Looks like it. We have here. There will be Utah going into the box. And that is Braxton Porter. Golden opportunity here for the Cougars. Just a little over 5 minutes remaining in the first period. Utah 2, Washington State 0. Landers has it here up by the circle. Sends it to the middle to Woodard. Woodard sends it around looking for Ewing. Gold gives chase behind the net. A little fascinating matchup here as looks like Lumina is almost mirroring where Landers is going around.
Yeah, I think they're zeroing in on one guy on top of him because he did a lot of damage last time they played.
It's dumped back in by the Cougars.
But also on the other hand, you see WSU, they're counteracted. They got Landers playing quite a bit on the defensive side of it, waiting to take that offensive opportunity. Right. It's a nice little cat and mouse game between the coaching staffs.
As Landers brings it up for the Cougars. Brings it around. Switches it across. Wrister save there by Russello.
That was a nice little job by Landers. He actually passed it to himself off the boards behind the net and caught Utah sleeping on that one. Wide open pass over to his line mate.
Utah wins the faceoff. O'Shea tries to bring it out and dumps it down. Roughly 40 seconds here left on the Washington State power play. They look here. A little bit of a miscommunication there with Roach. Landers picks it up. Landers holds onto the puck, brushes aside the Utah defender, brings it down. And swings it around as Roach gets it up near by the blue line.
I really like how Roach has played this weekend. He's had stellar games, each and every one.
As Utah clears. Back to full strength here. There's about 3 minutes remaining. As Landers, looks like he got that was definitely a check there. That's not going to be allowed.
Yeah, I thought they were going to get him for that check. Well, that's the only time he takes a break, so
right?
He'll come back
because he did not come out on that power play whatsoever. Utah back on the power play here as they are 2 for 3 in this opening period.
That's a nice little contingent of WSU fans here.
Here to support their Cougars as it is for their home game here tonight. Rumina brings it out, sends it down. Lovely little move there. As Rumina now has it up by the blue line. Hits Millick as now Washington State clears.
Hermine has been stout for Utah this weekend also. He's played really well.
And Stout has been the focal point for most of the weekend when the power play comes for the Utah Utes. He's been that commander of that offensive attack.
Well, he definitely leads their attack when they're on the power play.
As Mahara brings it around. Cleared there. Not all the way out as Millick's able to keep it in. Rumina shot deflected, caught by Paxton.
That was a nice little play by Utah. What they did, they put their forward down in the corner, which drew a Cougar out toward him, and then he took a quick dart in front of Paxton and got a nice little shot off on that one. That was a nice little setup by Utah.
And Gary, when you're seeing a team for a second time in just a couple of days, it feels like you have to try and make little nuances and changes to give them something different that they hadn't seen in that first matchup.
Oh, without a doubt. You got to change up quite a bit, even if it's just little subtle things like that play right there where they shot the forward out of the corner, just little things so that you can't get comfortable with them. You can game plan for them, but you do need to change up a little bit.
Washington State tries to clear there as they dump it in to their zone.
And that's what I'm waiting to see. Sorry about that, Blinn, but I'm waiting to see how they adjust in between periods. I think you'll see WSU come out with some small little maneuvers that are different that Utah's probably hasn't seen on that one.
O'Shea's able to keep it in here as the power play is just about to come to a close as Landers comes out of the box. Washington State back to full strength here. Just under a minute remaining in the first period. Gary, what are your thoughts on this first period?
It's actually been an entertaining game. Utah's definitely taken it to WSU right now. And that's why I'm thinking you're going to see some adjustments in between periods to get more of an offensive attack pressure on Utah. because right now WSU is sticking with him, but right now their attack isn't going to get him any points.
Especially with that shot differential already pretty high up there. Utah with 20, Washington State with only the 5. It's a very similar line that how their first matchup unfolded. As it's sent around, the Cougars trying to make a last-second opportunity, and they score! Great pass by Lanyard. It looks like he sets up Gold, and Gold finishes right in front.
Well, what Landers did it really well on it was almost a 2-on-1 break for WSU. The Utah player skated over toward Landers and held him up a little bit, but Landers didn't stop. He went behind the net, got the puck, came out, and did a nice little flutter pass and wide open net. And that could bring a lot of life to WSU, especially with only 35 seconds left in this period.
And that was one of the few times in this first period that they really tried to dictate some play there, and they were able to get a great opportunity to finish. As Lander sends it back in, looking for spin with the wrister, pad save wide. And that opportunity here out to Chow on the potential breakaway. Deflection out of play as Millick gets the misdirection.
Chow's been a little quiet tonight. I'm used to saying his name quite a bit too previously too, so I expect to see him pick up his game also because he's an outstanding hockey player.
If you're Utah, just sticking to the game plan, I feel like, right?
Yeah.
Other than this goal right here, they've been pretty much almost had a very solid period.
Yeah, there's no reason for them to change whatsoever.
And that is the first period. Utah got up early with 2 quick power play goals. Washington State got a late one, and it's 2-1 after the first. Welcome back, everyone, into Eastern Washington University Rec Center. As the second period is about to get underway with the Utah Utes 2 and the Washington State Cougars 1. Shots on goal, 21 for the Utes, 6 for the Cougars. Utah, to recap the first period, Utah had 2 power play goals. Washington State scored late to cut the deficit in half. Gary, what did you want to see in this second period? I know we want to see Washington State try and open up a little bit more, correct?
Well, I think they're going to have to take a few more gambles. If I was Utah, I wouldn't change anything. They're playing really well. But they have some outstanding hockey players, Utah does. You know, I think of like Pittman. I think of Mudd. O'Shea's another one. I could go on and on about them. They're a very talented hockey club. Worth's had a really good weekend also. So, yeah, if I was Utah, I would just keep the same game plan they had before. And WSU, they may have to take a few gambles, not as much now since they closed that gap.
As Utah wins the faceoff here, it is dumped in by Worth. Sent around, flashed out in front, spins there to step aside. Woodard finds Gold. As Gold tries to switch and find Landers, it's picked off by Utah. Centering pass, Paxton, pad save, sends it away. Gold knocks into neutral ice as Utah dumps it back in.
Well, it's one thing on that little shift right there. Utah's flooded in 4 of their players. And it worked well. They got a few shots just like there. They again flooded for their players to put some more pressure on WSU.
Endy with the wrister there. Paxton up to the challenge once again.
I don't know how to say it any other way, but Paxton seems to be up to every challenge that anyone throws at him.
As Washington State dumps it in to their zone. Utah tries to clear. Lovely little move there. Brought back in.
So again, they're flooding 4 people on top of WSU, and then they can't account for that extra player.
It looked like that was Endy with the finish. Endy was also the one who picked it up all the way down back in the zone and brings it all the way down with the ISO goal.
He has a high IQ for this game, and if he gets any kind of opportunity, he's going to carry the puck out. But that is one change that I've noticed Utah is doing. They're flooding 4 people in and leaving 1 back. But they got a lot of confidence in their goaltending tandem, so I can see why they're experimenting a little bit.
As Ewing tries to send it along the boards here.
And I was about ready to say it'd be interesting if WSU tied this up, see how Utah can handle that. But they're out to a 2-goal lead again.
Well, and they did fall behind. Utah did last night, and there was something they had to find their way back into that game, so they can play in a multitude of styles, which is something that I like to see out of this squad.
They're definitely going to keep sending 4 players in on top of the netminder, Paxton, see if they can shake him up.
Lovely move there by Woodard. Opportunity, centering pass. Oh, looks like Landers just couldn't get the full grasp on it.
You will not see that happen very often because that was a beautiful job by Woodard to wait. Landers got in the open. He just kind of whiffed on it. And Landers is too good a hockey player to expect him to keep doing that.
2-on-1 at the other end. There's Endy. Wrister is saved by Paxton. Yeah, that was a very rare occurrence that I think we're going to see.
Yeah, exactly. He gets the puck, and you know he's a sniper. He's going to get it on net. So just one of those fluke little things happened there.
Wrister from the outside, pushed aside by Paxton.
Now Utah's back to the traditional 3-2, but nope, no, they're sneaking that one, like O'Shea on that one. He snuck in on top of the slot right there, so they're definitely going to employ that, sending in 4 players. Oh, big hit.
That was spinned in, as well as Kubert, who met each other there at the top of the blue line.
He relayed one heck of a check on that one.
Landers comes down. Rister's blocked there. Sheridan with the nice little poke check. It's like a substitution.
Now you got to tip your hat to Landers. That kid just does not slow down whatsoever. As much ice as he is, you'd expect him to get tired, but he doesn't. So he's in excellent hockey shape. He's just relentless out there on that attack. But now WSU's going to get a penalty.
Looks like Jens is going to be the one entering the box.
I don't think Jens is agreeing with it right now, but again, we talked about it in the first period. WSU cannot keep going shorthanded against Utah. They're going to run themselves into a lot of trouble if they keep doing this.
Just about 16 and a half minutes remaining in the second period, with Utah leading 3-1 over the Cougars. Face off one, Omina at the top as he feeds Chow. Chow probes. Nice stick there by the Cougars to clear it away. This is a very fascinating power line that Utah throws out with Chow, Milik, Omina, as well as Endy. All 4 players. Critical components these first couple nights. Omina for the slap shot from the outside, saved by Paxton.
Well, they're all offensive minded who Utah has out there right now. Of course, actually the whole squad is, if you think about it. But I tell you, Pax is keeping WSU in this. The kid's just playing outstanding again. I can't think of words to describe how good he's playing.
And Gary, when you have attack-minded defensemen like Utah does, when you have Rusella or Biller on the back end, does that feed your goaltender more confidence, knowing that they want to play an attack-minded style and they know that they can put you a little bit more on a limb as a goaltender?
Well, obviously they have a lot of faith in their goaltender, so they get away from that. I think they're just used to it, so I don't think it affects them at all.
Paxton with the save there.
So playing that style is nothing to them, and tip your hat to the goaltenders on that one. But see, right now they got 4 guys back down in tight on WSU, so they're going to stick with that plan. Now, what WSU could do if they wanted to take a little gamble, they could go offensive-minded, even though they're shorthanded, do a stretch pass to see if they can catch Utah off guard on that one. That'd be one way to attack it.
As Utah continues to probe back up to Umina. Milik has it here. Back out to Umina. Rister. Chow sends it. Blocked by Ewing and saved by Paxton. Deflection there. Chow picks it up.
Give credit to WSU. They killed off another penalty, so good for them.
Good check there by Landers as Landers tries to give chase. As him and Omina square off once again down there.
That was a nice feather pass by Landers up there, and it almost worked. They almost caught Utah sleeping a little bit on that one.
Milik comes back the other way. Rister saved.
See, with a goaltender like Paxton, you can take gambles like that because he's hard to beat. I mean, okay, there's 3 goals against him right now, but 30 shots on him. So I'd be surprised if WSU doesn't start taking a little bit of chances, knowing who they have in net. He's a wall for him, so why not give it a whirl?
Yep. But my question would be, why haven't you made that adjustment? Because it feels so similar to that first matchup on Thursday night.
That, Blaine, I have no answer for. I would start taking a few gambles like that right now because you have nothing to lose being down by 2.
Because just the way that the game is played, it feels so eerily similar to the game we called on Thursday night.
It is. And that's why I'm surprised that they haven't tried a little bit more of the gambling aspect.
Out in front, scored. As it's finished off by Worth. Lovely little setup by Utah, and it's now 4-1.
And again, nothing Paxton could have done on that one. He made 2 initial saves on that one, but with Utah flooding 4 guys down on top of it, WSU is, I don't know if they realize that's what's happening right now, but they have to be aware of that. So their centerman's going to have to pick that 4th guy up, and that's what happened there. They, after Paxton made a couple saves on that one, it just bounced down in front, and the 4th guy came in and had a wide open net. WSU has got to be aware of that.
And you can see there, Landers was asking about a potential missed call there that led to the turnover in the Cougar zone. That was something that he wanted further explanation on.
Because I definitely don't see Utah changing that style. They're putting a lot of pressure on Kane Paxton by playing that way.
As Utah's all over it again, scores again. Two quick goals in succession, as it's now 5-1 Utah.
I'm not sure who the Ute player was that scored that, but he did a really nice job. The shot initially went in. Paxton gave up a little bit of rebound. He got it and he passed it between his legs, and Paxton made a move for it, and he did a nice little backhand to the opposite side.
It looked like to be number 17, Reed Pittman, was the one who was out in front and finished it off.
I was wondering when we're going to call his name, because that kid, he knows how to play the game, but nice play by him. And again, Paxton can only do so much. You can't keep getting those flurries like that on you without something going in.
Landers out in front, saved by Russello. Just a one-man wrecking crew on that play.
Yeah, he was. I give him credit on that one, but yeah, Landers came in bowling in, and he knocked 2 players down and still got the shot off. He's just a joy to watch. I really like watching Landers play.
Just a little under 13 minutes remaining in the second period. If you're the Cougars head coach, you start maybe tinkering with some lines now, looking like it's starting to get out of hand.
Oh, you got to. If you're going to try to stay in this game, you're going to have to change up a little bit, try to confuse Utah a little bit. Because right now, the way they're playing, they're not going to get 4 goals on it. So they are going to have to take some liberties and see if that'll work. And that's why I think you're going to see Landers out there the whole rest of the time out here now, because he's just stout.
Picked up here, opportunity out in front, and Roach dives, and that's going to be a penalty there.
It'll be interesting if they give a penalty shot on this one, because the Ute was clear. He was well on his way to having a breakaway.
Let's see what the call is going to be.
Nope, they're going to call just a regular penalty on that one. WSU got a break on that one. I could easily see a penalty shot called on that one.
Yeah, because Michael Brown had a one-on-one. And that was just a last-second opportunity that Roach just flailed after his little miscue on the offensive end that allowed the opportunity.
Well, I give Roach credit. He had to take that penalty. If not, it would have been a breakaway run on top of Kane Paxton. So that was one of those that was a good penalty. But WSU is really hurting themselves by taking all these penalties right now. Because hasn't Utah scored at least three on the power play?
They've had 3 on the power play, 3 of the 5. Switched out to Chow. Umina has it at the top. Deflected by Millick, saved by Paxton there. And right now, Utah's able to get right out in front as Millick has been drifting in and out.
Yep.
Just to be a quick flash, a quick deflection.
That's part of that little mid-slot rotation that they do a lot of. They've done it so far the whole weekend, and it works really well for Utah.
Face off won by the Cougars. Is they're able to clear there as Umina picks it up. Millick brings it in for the Utes. See, passes up top to Umino. Umino switches her around. As Endy probes at the top of the blue line. Umino with the slap shot saved by Paxton. Cougars clear.
I'm a little surprised WSU hasn't taken some gamble because they got a good hockey club.
Opportunity here.
Oh.
As Donahue just unable to get the connection on an empty net.
You know Donahue wants that back.
Lovely deke there by Millick. You can see it was weighing on Donahue as he gives another opportunity there and flashes it. That's something good to see, though. He didn't let that sink in his head. Right back down and almost got another opportunity there for the Cougars.
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm impressed with WSU. There's no quit in them. Even though they're down by 4, they're still chugging along. They're just going to have to change a little bit of their style, see if they can get some long stretch passes and try to get some breaks out of that way. And they have the talent to do that. They're just going to have to start playing that way. And you know the coaching staff realized that now. You'll start seeing some adjustments off that.
Just under 11 minutes remaining. 11 seconds on the power play. Quick wrister there. Covered up by Paxton.
I have absolutely no idea what more he can do. He's getting pelted again, and he's standing strong.
Already 31 saves basically halfway through this game.
Yeah.
Right on pace once again. As Utah continues to probe. As the penalty's over, Cougars are back to full strength.
But their attack is so relentless. It's just constantly on top of the Cougars in their zone.
Lovely little play there, just pass, unable to connect as the Cougars bring it back the other way. Good poke check there by Utah, by O'Shea. Flash out in the middle. No Cougars home. Utah starts to clear. Worth brings it out, sends it down. Utah tries to get a change.
One thing I've noticed the Cougars are doing now, they're chasing the puck. In the first period, they weren't. They were staying at home, doing their positions really well, and Utah was struggling a little bit. But right now, they're kind of chasing the puck around rather than picking up their man.
Sometimes I feel like that happens just when sometimes the game starts to get a little bit out of hand. You start to press, almost overly press, and then everything starts to open up more for Utah offensively.
Well, you're trying to make a little bit in adjustment, but if you would just stay in your spot, nice save.
Wrister by Gold from out by the circle.
So you're actually playing that way, more opportunities for Utah rather than just staying in your spots and just start taking some gambles that way. Utah's a tough team to play against. They do little slight adjustments throughout the whole period.
Bad save there by Russello.
Well, if you look at it, how they were flooding 4 guys there, they didn't do that in the first period. They subtly did that, and now they're doing it on a regular basis, except that last time they went back to a traditional 3-2. But you got to give the coaching staff credit for that. They're just trying to do little subtle things every once in a while to shake it up.
As Ewing dumps it down. Puck's missed here as Utah gets chased. Ewing gets there first, sends it to Gold. It's dumped in by the Utes. Furlong unable to control the puck there. And the Cougars come back the other way, led by Spin. Cougars starting to try and probe themselves a little bit on the offensive end. trying to keep Utah pinned in deep. Deflection there into neutral ice. Sent back in by the Utes. Picked up by Koziel as he looks for Gents. Gents opportunity. Rusella's there.
See, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Now, that was a gamble by WSU. They had a lot of pressure from Utah on that, but they did a nice little stretch pass on that, and they got a breakaway on it. Those are the little things that I think WSU will have to start doing more of.
As Donahue loses the face off there. Utah has it. Donahue picks it off. Look, centering pass towards Gents. As Miller comes back for the Utes. Centering. Rush aside.
But what I do like, I saw the Cougars the last 2 times they've had it in Utah's end, they flooded 2 guys on top of the one D-man trying to pinch him in the corner, and that both times gave them good opportunities on shots that they had. So that there's a little quick adjustment by WSU.
And at this point in the game, you might as well just pull out all the stops, just to try and get something out of these little changes that you can build off of. Gents brings it down. Risters pushed aside there. As Milik clears it away, as Chow picks it up.
But I am impressed with Utah's goaling tandems they got up here. Boy, both goaltenders play well.
Paxton covers it up.
That was smart on his part, give his players a little breather. They were scrambling a little bit on that one. And usually Paxton, the way he plays, he would have shot it up off the boards. And that was a heads-up play by him to give him a little break.
A little break and leads to a full line change as well.
And that's what makes him so strong. He reads his team really well. And so he realized they needed a little break on that one. He just smothered the puck.
Worth has it. Deflected out. Picked up there by Moorhead. Cougars able to keep it in. Couple of big hits in the corner there by the Cougars. Utah's able to knock the puck down into the zone. Mahara gives chase. Centering pass into the neutral zone, dumped in by Smith as Wazoo gets a change in. Like a potential offsides miss there, but Landers a shot saved by Rosello. Just about 6 minutes remaining in the second period here. Shots 37-16 Utah, and the score line Utah 5, Washington State 1.
I tell you, a kid that's played outstanding for WSU, and he's nonstop is Dakota Borough. 18. I mean, this whole weekend, he just gets his head down and he goes for it. He's played outstanding for WSU.
Been very solid on the faceoffs as well these couple nights.
Yeah, he just knows go, go, go. And very impressed with his play.
Utah sends it down. Good poke check there by Woodard. Utah sends it around. It's dumped back in.
Now, I noticed WSU is using the body a little bit more, so I'm not sure if that's what they've decided to try to do to slow down Utah or not, but they're hitting more in this last couple minutes.
And that was something that they did try later in the game on Thursday night. That was something that Eastern was able to do quite well against Utah last night.
Yeah, what the Eagles did really well, they timed their hits. They just weren't out there hitting everything that moved. They had some nice timely body checks.
Lamina's unable to keep it in the zone. Big hit there. As Omina's able to bring it back in. Broken stick there. Spin is the one that loses his stick.
The game's definitely getting a little chippy right now. They got sticks broken all over the place.
Nice.
Players falling down.
The physicality has definitely escalated for sure.
It's getting a little bit wild.
As the frenetic pace continues in his last minute and a half here. Sent out to Umina. He switches around. Wrister saved by Paxton, and he's able to cover it up.
Outstanding job by Kane Paxton to even find the puck on that one, because if you look right now, there's at least 4 players standing right by him. Nice job by him. He kind of dove out rather than poke checking, and he just grabbed the puck.
The officials pick up all the sticks that we have here laying around.
Man, it got hectic out there for a little bit there, Blaine.
It did. It was very frenetic. It looked like that's something that, especially with the hitting, that Wazoo's trying to create a little bit more chaos out there. Controlled chaos is what I would call it. As Jen stumps it in right on Rosello, and Rosello covers it up.
You gave him a little more credit on that one. I was just going to say it was chaos. It was like it was just motoring out there. If you were by anyone, you hit him. So nice job of trying to help that out with the controlled chaos. I like that.
Utah wins the faceoff, sends it down. No icing there as Roach picks it up. As Wazoo probes here to get it out of their own end. Nice little pass there. No icing. As Donahue gets the touch. He sends it in. Umina picks it up, looking for that stretch pass for Brown. And Brown's able to beat Ewing there and be able to pick it up. Utah probes, flashed out in front. Chow able to get the deflection, but Paxton's there to cover it up. And you know Chow's looking for something after having a hat trick the first night. He's knows that he wants to get on the score sheet tonight.
Yeah, they've quieted him down a little bit tonight. But he's such an outstanding hockey player. Do not go to sleep on him.
Landers brings it up.
He's full steam ahead for him.
A little 1-on-3 action there. As then Doros tries to dump it down. Backhand's flashed just wide there by Christensen. Opportunity, and it's blown dead. Just under 3 minutes remaining. It looks like Utah's going to be entering the box. It's O'Shea.
And the referee gave 3 different signals on that, so I'm not sure what the penalty's actually going to be on. He changed it 3 different times, so.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Well, at first I thought it was an interference. Then he went with an elbow, and then anyway, we know O'Shea's in the box.
Sent around to the top. A circle. Gold has it. Ewing sends it back down to Gold.
Another penalty coming up. You talk about a golden opportunity now for WSU.
That potential 5-on-3 that's going to be unfolding here for the Washington Cougars. That is Nahara who enters. Monaco. Monaco's the one who's entering the box there. Excuse me. This is great opportunity on the 5-on-3. We also have to remember last night, Utah's 5-on-3 defense was absolutely exceptional. I believe Eastern was on the 5-on-3 for 5-6 minutes in the second period and nothing to show for it. And the one thing that I noticed in Utah's 5-on-3 defense in their triangle is they did not get baited one time. They stayed truly committed to where they needed to be. That's sent just wide by Ewing.
And actually, their triangle is interesting. If you watch how they set it up at the red line, the top forward is way out. Then he slowly slides back in.
Saved there by Russello. Landers takes a spill there. Landers continues to probe, switches it across to Ewing. Russello's up to the challenge there. Great glove save.
Hats off to Utah's goaltenders. They have two stellar netminders.
There's 40 seconds remaining here on the 5-on-3 power play.
But also, if you look at Utah, how they use that 1-3 triangle, that top guy is always looking to shoot out. He's thinking offense and trying to get some points on that. And that's helping him because he's already jumping out.
Gold shot's deflected there. So he sends it around to Ewing. Ewing at the top. Woodard has it. Lander has it at the circle. Good poke check there. As Woodard wraps around, opportunity stopped there by Russello once again. And here comes Utah. Like you said, trying to potentially get an opportunity here on the 5-on-3. Looking for the wraparound. Paxton's there.
They're always looking to shoot that one guy out if they can get control of the puck, and that's impressive because they shift really fast from defense to offense on that one.
And then they use that speed that they have just to hit that, just try and stretch away from the Washington State defenders.
Eastern did a nice job against Utah doing that same style, that they were looking to go offensive minded when they were shorthanded, and it worked a couple times for them.
It's about 6 seconds left here on the 5-on-3.
But that's what speed will do for you. If you got the quickness, and you can do some of those plays.
As O'Shea's out of the box, and he picks up the puck. It's about 10 seconds remaining on the Washington State power play. O'Shea hits the post there. As the Cougars bring it back down. And that is another 5-on-3 penalty kill by the Utah Utes.
O'Shea did a nice job of rubbing the defenseman off, and that's how he got that nice backhand that hit the post on WSU.
As the puck's deflected out of play. 16 seconds remaining in the second period. Gary, what are your thoughts after you've seen through 2 periods in this matchup?
Well, I still think it's time for WSU to just go ahead and loosen their attack up a little bit. It's been an entertaining game for both squads, but Utah, they don't change. They stick to their system. So if they're it's been a good hockey game. The score would indicate maybe not, but no, it's been entertaining. I just think WSU's got to open it up and start taking some gambles and start doing taking some chances now.
Agreed. I feel like it's about time that they release the shackles, so to speak, and just open this thing up.
Well, they have the talent to do it. They just have to decide to go ahead and do it.
Omina gets out in front and scores.
Armina did a nice job on that one. He did a deke right in the middle of the slot, and which is rare. I've seen Paxton go down early on it, and he just top shelved it on him. Nice play by the Ute.
Yeah, able to deke there, get away from Roach, and give him an opportunity one-on-one in front.
Yeah, and he had the one defenseman hanging on him also for WSU. That was just a slick play by him.
And that'll do it. And after 2 periods, it is the Utah Utes 6 and the Washington State University Cougars 1.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Eastern Washington University Rec Center as we are entering the final period in this one. It is the Utah Utes 6 and the Washington State Cougars 1. Utah started to really empower themselves there in that second period, kind of putting this one to potentially to bed. Gary, what do you want to see here from Washington State, just to maybe like a morale boost, just something to make it a positive out of this one?
Well, I think they're going to have to open it up. There's no question about that. They can't play this way and have any hope of getting back in this game. But I was thinking about one thing you said that was really interesting to me in between periods, because I was trying to figure out how Utah was adjusting their little movements. And you said that you thought you picked it up that they were doing it off their line changes, and that gave them a clue on which way they wanted to play. And that made a lot of sense to me, because somewhere down the line, someone's controlling that.
Yeah, that was just something that I started to potentially observe, and I wasn't overly sure that's what I was seeing, but just like I saw it a couple of times throughout, is that the line change was showing a different idea of what they wanted to run.
And I think that was dead accurate on that one, because it's a little subtle thing that Utah's doing, but it's very choreographed, and that would make sense that they were doing it off their line. So each line that went out there, okay, this is the style we're going to play. So nice heads up on it by you, Blaine, on that one, because that had me a little baffled.
Agree, because it was so interchangeable, right? It had that, you knew what they wanted to run, but you were seeing it not just it wasn't every line doing it. It was being tinkered a little bit throughout. So that was why I thought that observation was coming to pass.
Well, that's why it made a lot of sense, because it's like if you went into how they were doing the attack 4 guys in and keep a 1D man out, and then they'd go into a 1-3-1, something had to cue them. And then when you mentioned that, you thought it was their line changes, and that made a lot of sense to me right there, because then you don't have to think. You just know, okay, this line's out here. This is how we're going to play it.
Right. So now they're already switching lines now here in the third, and you can see that they're doing something a little different each time. So
well, you see right now they went into that 4 guys down on top of Paxton,
right,
1D up,
and they didn't. And then on that first line, it was more traditional. So
right.
I do think that line-to-line area is what we're seeing for sure. Just 2 minutes in here into the final period, as Utah has it, trying to clear out of their zone. And it looks like WazU is trying to
press a little bit more here, at least early on in this third period, trying to negotiate and find Utah make a mistake on a stretch pass. As on the rebound there, Utah finished it off. Cole Sheridan with the initial shot that was saved by Paxton. I couldn't see the final number who got the rebound. Looked like to me it was number 13, Ethan Kubert.
Well, Paxton did a nice job of the initial save, but there's only so many times he can knock the puck down. And Utah went in and flooded the opposite side of him. It was a wide open net.
As it's now 7-1 in this one, and here come the Utes again. It's something that's fascinating to me that we've seen in these almost 3 games now for Utah, is that even though we've talked about it so much, is that the gas pedal's always down for these guys. The motor, they never drop the intensity regardless of what the score line is, and that's got to have a lot of mental fortitude that the coaches have to preach to their players.
Oh, no question about that. I mean, even if you look at last night when they played Eastern, they were down by 1. They kept charging. When they were up by 1, they kept charging. They've done that against WSU both games. They just don't quit. They're relentless on their attack, especially their forechecking.
And for Washington State here, how do you try and not let the heads drop? How do you try to keep any sort of focus now with the game pretty much basically? Well, it is in hand at this point, so.
I think right now for WSU, what they'll have to do is just try to figure out, okay, let's get out of here without any injuries, and let's start zeroing in on tomorrow. Because it'll be real tough to get 6 goals against Utah's goaltender.
Paxton with the gloves hit there.
And that's what I've been impressed with this coaching staff from WSU. They were doing it a little bit last time they played Utah. They started to, I think, look at, okay, let's try to implement this, implement that, to try to get some different change-ups, thinking ahead, knowing that this game may be out of hand. And that's what you do, is just work on stuff you haven't done before.
And at this point, would you start I know you have an opponent in front of you, but do you start to tinker with some stuff that you want to maybe utilize for that next game tomorrow potentially?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at, is that now you start implementing, okay, we're going to try this, because they know who they're going to play.
Right.
And so you start looking at developing almost like a game plan. You're not thinking that far ahead, but you're also in the back of your mind like, yeah, we should have tried this before, and let's give it a whirl and see what we can do with it.
As Amina brings it down for Utah and dumps it in.
And plus, this is a good time for the WSU's coaching staff to see right now, and that's where I've been really impressed with the Cougs. They don't quit, so that's a good sign for them. So they're kind of probably looking at different elements.
As Woodard has an opportunity here, sends it wide.
Woodard, he doesn't stop. He just keeps going all the time. That was a nice little break. And you notice that they did that stretch pass. They caught Utah sleeping on that one. Woodard was wide open on that.
And that seems like something that Utah has worked well against them. I think Washington State's picked up on that opportunity later in the second period and now early on in the third to try and implement a stretch pass opportunity for some breakaways. As it's brushed aside by O'Meara. But it's deflected out and picked back up by the Cougars.
Now, I do think Utah's experimented with that today, doing those subtle changes that you were talking about, the line changes, because I didn't see that against the Eagles or WSU the first time around. We got a penalty here, and that he may be taking a break from the rest of this game, because I think they're going to get a checking from behind on that one. So that was a heavy hit. Oh, he's only given an interference on that call.
And that is Zachary Monaco who's entering the box.
Well, he got a break on that one.
I agree. I thought that was easily going to be at least a checking 5 minute.
Yeah, I thought a minimum would be a 5, but anyway. So I think what I was trying to say before is they've done some experimentation that they haven't shown in their previous games. Because I didn't see that at all last night or the first time they played WSU, how they were shifting off of their lines and coming up with a different attack.
And it worked. It's worked extremely well tonight. I'm fascinated to see if they're going to continue the strategy that they implement tonight tomorrow. Yeah,
because they play the Eagles again tomorrow morning. I mean, they've worked on it in practice. There's another penalty coming up against Utah.
There's going to be a minute 15 of a 5-on-3.
Now, I'm pretty sure Utah's coaching staff is not very happy with these penalties that they're taking right now. There's no point in, really doing it. So I'm pretty sure they'll have a chit-chat with which they are right now with the one player.
Samuel Mudd is the one who enters the box there. Opportunity here for the Cougars to get one back. Woodard has it at the top. Swings it around. Out to Landers. Put it at the blue line. Slap shot to Landers. Scores! Beautifully weighted pass by Woodard. Landers, no hesitation.
beats Usello on the glove side.
That was a nice one-timer by Landers on that, and Rousseau was a little bit screened on that one, but you could tell Landers was looking at that top shelf on that shot, and when he lets that go, it is a rocket. And you're not going to hold him down. He's going to get his points.
It's now 7-2.
And they're still on the power play.
Yep. Minute 30 still on the mud penalty. And that's dumped around and cleared. And also the one thing that I noticed there is that was the first time I'd seen Utah really get stretched in their triangle there on the 5-on-3 too. They didn't stay as close to home as what they had been in the previous period of the 5-on-3.
The only thing in their defense, it's hard to keep your focus on the game when you're up by 6 goals. Right. It's not the energy level because they're still skating really hard, but it's really hard to keep yourself zeroed in because you have such a big lead. So that'd be my guess what happened with them on that one. They kind of got caught sleeping. But that was a good pickup on you because, yeah, that I've noticed that also.
Utah has it here in the neutral zone as Chow picks it up. As they reset here, 30 seconds left, shorthanded.
So now they're looking for that breakout pass. Nobody was there. He just dumps it in. Nice play.
Roach picks it up. 20 seconds left here. Stretch pass, a minute to flex. Out here as Wazoo dumps it back in. Lock back in. As now the Utah's back to full strength. 3-on-2 opportunity here. Flash out in front, deflected just wide. Back come the Cougars. Chow picks it up behind his own net. Passes it off to Worth as Worth sends it around the boards. Flashed across. Cougars continue to probe here. As Gold's deflection just goes wide.
I do like the goalie they got in tonight. Utah's not really skipping a beat on either of their goaltenders.
Fairly similar styles between the two guys, too. Like you mentioned that early on in the first period, is that not much of a drop-off, if at all, and two very similar styles of goaltending. Sends around to Amina. Opportunity hits the post there. We've got a penalty.
That isn't a luxury for any team to have, is two goaltenders that are fairly equal with each other. It gives the coaches a lot of confidence on trying some things that you may not do if you had a big discrepancy in how the goaltenders play.
As Umina enters the box, Wazoo will be back on the power play. And it allows you to not have to overload your top guy and make him have to do a brunt of the work. Allows you to get some quality playing time for your backup as well, some early on experience when it's still earlier on in the year. Chow here, breakaway opportunity, beats Paxton.
You knew sooner or later Chow was going to get something because he was been a little bit quiet tonight, and he's such an outstanding hockey player. He just stormed in. And again, if you looked at what they did, they were looking for that, even though they're shorthanded, they were looking for that breakout pass. And it worked for them because, again, they're just relentless on their style. They do not – I think they believe offense is their defense.
the best defense is a good offense.
Well, especially when you got two goaltenders that play really well. That helps you too.
Without question, as it's 8-2 now, halfway through the final period. O'Shea has it here, as there's still a minute 40 left on the Omina penalty.
But Utah's always looking to get a breakaway. They're always thinking about how we're going to get a chance to score. And that's very impressive out of this club.
And even when they're shorthanded, they continue to probe, even if that means they're going to do a pack pass and maybe make them a little bit more vulnerable for.
Oh, they're constantly looking, even when they're shorthanded. Like I was saying, what they do is they have their front guy, their forwards up by the blue line, and he's looking to make a break. He's not really looking at trying to play so much defense. He's looking at, can I get a stretch pass from someone, get in on top of the goaltender. Really nice system they have.
Roach has it here. Poke check there, but Woodard able to keep it in.
See, there's a good example right there. They were trying to make an attack off that, and if it wasn't because the puck got in the skates, they would have had a 2-on-1.
Right, because Endy's starting to stretch there, like you called. Landers has it, swings it up to Roach, towards the blue line. Gold has it, right there on the circle, right around to Landers. Up to Roach, about 20 seconds here left. Wrister by Landers just goes wide. Endy with the slap shot up at the blue line. Here comes the Utes once again.
They just attack and attack and attack.
Relentless.
They do not slow down. You look at the Indy on that one shot. He just barely got in the blue line. He wasn't thinking about passing. He was going to light it up, and that was a nice shot by him.
And then Furlong just picked up the loose puck and ripped another wrister right on Paxton there too as well.
Which their style helps them because they love forechecking, and they do a nice job all the way around.
Shot there goes wide by Monaco. Mud's able to keep it in.
So you can look at Utah right now. They're constantly in motion. Nobody's standing around. Nobody's gliding on it. They're always moving.
And the constant motion makes it that much more difficult, especially with Washington State who's looking to chase right now.
Well, because that's how you get them to chase. If you're constantly moving,
Right.
that's sooner or later there's going to be a breakdown. We got a penalty coming up. It looks like it'll go against the Cougs.
West out in front.
And that's how you create that chasing around game. If you're constantly moving, sooner or later, the player that's supposed to have you on defense is going to lose you. And that's when they start the chase game. And that plays right into Utah's hands. And the Utes are really strong at making teams do that. 58 shots on goal to 28. Again, Kane Paxton's playing outstanding.
Once again, the scoreline does not indicate how well he's played tonight.
Oh, not at all.
With 50 stops, Christensen's in the box here for the Cougars.
Well, that's over 100 shots that he's had in 2 games against Utah. That's a lot of work that's usually 3 to 4 games on an average game.
Which was probably why he got the rest last night, because of the workload he took on Thursday night. Chow unable to connect there. The Cougars clear. Spin gives chase. And here comes Millick the other way.
Mina has it. Lovely move there. Paxton covers it up.
I tip my hat to WSU. There's no quit in this hockey team. They're down 8-6. A lot of teams will be hanging their heads and not doing anything out there. And WSU is still fighting. You got to give them credit for that. And that's their coaching staff that's got that instilled with them.
Yeah, we're not going to be here that's going to fold and lay down the towel.
Yeah, because you could easily do it now down by 6 and knowing who you're facing. But no, they're trying hard.
Worth with the slap shot block there. Back out to Worth. Another wrister. Save by Paxton. Another save by Paxton out in front. Chow must be thinking he should have had another hat trick again tonight already. As Worth picks it up. And that's loose here.
But we have a stoppage right here. But I was going to have you kind of look at how Utah's moving. Again, nobody is flat-footed out there. They're constantly on the move.
And it's so fluid.
Well, yeah, and they
Fluid
rotate
motion.
extremely well. They're like you said earlier in the first period, they're really interchangeable. So if their defenseman goes in, their forward automatically comes back. There's no hesitation out of that club. And that's why it's hard to catch them by surprise because they cover for each other really well.
O'Shea has it here. Swings it around.
I'm just really impressed with Utah. They're a really, really solid hockey club.
As they continue to probe here. O'Shea with saved again by Paxton.
If you look on that one, Paxton went down a butterfly and he still got himself moved over to the far post, and he just covers so much ground so quickly.
He's got great positioning, all of the tools that you're looking for.
Yeah, his lateral movement's nonstop. He's just phenomenal.
A save there once again.
And it doesn't matter with Paxton, it's blocker or his glove hand. He's extremely quick with both of them.
Right. Washington State back on to full strength there after finishing off the penalty kill. Here comes Gold as he dumps it in. Lynch gives chase for the Cougars. Out in front.
If I'm not mistaken, Blaine, I think with 62 shots up there, Utah has more this game than they did the first one, or is it real close to do you remember?
If I remember, I think there are just a couple short right now. Because I know if we had Paxton at 60 saves, so I think Utah still put up 6 or 7 if I remember correctly. So they're about 5 more shots away from evening it up. But if my math is correct, got a potential penalty here.
Utah's going in the box on this one. Cross check on. I don't know. I didn't pick up who did it.
Like it was number 16, Porter Temple. Just over 4 minutes remaining here in this one. Number 23 brings it in. That is Moorhead.
Sweet little move.
Lovely move. Team Utah is also just their depth.
Yeah.
Just mine is like they have so many guys that you can just throw out there, and they don't miss a beat.
Oh
They're
no!
on their first line to their fourth line.
Top to bottom, they're all outstanding hockey players. They're all quick, and then you add some speed on most of them, and they're a force.
Minute and a half here left on the power play for the Cougars as they win the faceoff in the defensive zone.
See, now they're in a 1-1-2, attack style. You can see how he's trying to guide it right there. He stole the puck.
Checks there. Paxton has to make a save.
Oh, they're going to call him on it. That's Brown. They're going to call. I'm not sure. He took a little shot on Paxton, so I'm not sure if that's going to play up.
So Washington State here back on the 5-on-3.
Well, they can get some shots on net right now with two-man advantage.
And just a reminder for you guys that are watching, both of these teams will be in action again tomorrow. Utah will be taking on the Eastern Eagles bright and early at 9 a.m. puck drop, as Utah has a potential breakaway here. Lovely move. Paxton's up to the challenge.
Their thought process is attack, attack, attack. You make one little error, one little mistake, or you hesitate.
They're looking to punish you.
And there goes Utah. And that's what happened right at the blue line. There was a little missed pass. And always thinking of how they're going to score.
Here comes Gold bringing it in for the Cougars. Looks for a centering pass there.
So that was interesting. That was the reverse triangle. Sorry, Blake, but right now they had two guys for Utah out, and they had one guy back rather than the traditional 1-2. They were 2-1.
Just continuing to tinker and give everyone a different, give the Cougars a different look.
See, now they went back to their traditional triangular 1-2. It's really it's really fun watching how they adjust and how they play off of each other off that, because they're always looking at how are we going to push that puck out and try to get a breakaway, and they're down two guys.
30 seconds left on the 5-on-3 power play as O'Shea tries to clear, picked up by the Cougars. Switched around. Gold has it. Out to Ewing. Swings it around to Roach. Looks for Gold with that cross pass. Blocked there. A spin tries to make a deflection. We're back on now a 5-on-4 power play for the Cougars with 30 seconds remaining. As for the Cougars, they will be taking on the UCSD Tritons tomorrow, roughly around 12:15 East. 12:15. It's about 2 minutes remaining in this one. As Utah's right back on the attack once again. O'Shea sends it down. Chow goes to pick it up. And now the Utes are back to full strength. Stoppage with 1:30 remaining. And those who are watching, we have more hockey still tonight. We have our second game in our Saturday night doubleheader of our PAC8 showcase. Eastern Eagles and the UCSD Tritons at 7:15. So don't go anywhere. Utah swings it around. Gary, with just a little bit over a minute remaining, your final thoughts.
Again, I'm very impressed with Utah. The Cougars gave it a good effort, but they had to change a little bit more of their style, and they didn't. And I think that's why you're seeing the results that you are. But on the other hand, I've been impressed with WSU with their no quit in them. Pax, what can you say? I mean, 66 shots right now that he's faced. He's just a workhorse. But it's been a good game. It's been entertaining, even though it's 8-2. I just would have liked to saw WSU open it up a little bit more, take a few more gambles.
And it felt like those changes didn't happen until the game was already pretty much decided. As the net goes loose there, just under a minute. As he's now one save for back-to-back 60 save games. That's just hard to fathom. It really is.
It truly is. It's I didn't think I'd see that today after the first go run they had, but again, that's Utah style. They're going to put a lot of pressure on you. They're going to get their offensive opportunities.
Washington State brings it around here. Deflected there, blocked. As Washington State brings it back down. Utah 4-on-2 opportunity here. Omina saved by Paxton once again.
But you see how quickly the Utah went to that 4-man attack on that one. I mean, as soon as they got the puck right in between the blue and red line, they're instantly sent 4 in.
It was so interchangeable as soon as to be able to make that. And it was in unison, all 4 of them. Pretty much, Omina could have went anywhere, even though he took it himself there. He could have passed it to any of those 3 guys. Saved again by Paxton. Shot there just goes wide. A couple of seconds remaining here in this one. As Utah continues to leave their mark. And that'll do it. Gary, thank you for being on the call.
Look, as always, next up, Eastern Eagles versus the UCSD Tritons. The final score here in this one, the Utah Utes 8, the Washington State Cougars 2.